Sonam La, Lobsang La, Tenzin La for putting all of this together and keeping on the heat here in New York City. You've done a fantastic job. I'm going to read to you my official statement that I am launching today. It is an appeal to the corporate sponsors of the 2008 Olympic Games. We gather here before the United Nations, where the people of the world unite for a common purpose, the peace and welfare of mankind. It is before this august body that we have come to honor and to mourn our brothers and sisters in Tibet who have been murdered by the People's Republic of China in the last 4 weeks. It was in this august body, the United Nations, that my late father, Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, served the people of the United States of America. Before that, he served as the United States ambassador to India. It was there my family met the Tibetan refugees and His Holiness Dalai Lama and learned the ugly, the obscene truth of the Chinese communist occupation of Tibet. From that time, we have never stopped supporting, marching, organizing, and writing on behalf of the people of Tibet, and we're not going to stop now. Not now. The people in Tibet have started a revolution, and we're not going to sit this one out, right? Yeah. Free Tibet. In the past month, the Tibetan people inside Tibet have let out a cry of anguish. The Chinese government has met their cries as they always have for 6 decades, with the whip, the lash, the jackboot, and the knife. As we speak here before the United Nations today, the 6 million people in Tibet are silenced by de facto martial law. They have no recourse to action, to justice, or to safety. Fathers, mothers, children, monks, and nuns have been arrested, beaten, tortured, and killed, are being beaten, arrested, tortured, and killed as we speak. Pardon me. The People's Republic of China is waging a state-sponsored campaign of political repression and religious persecution executed with an alarming savagery in defiance of world opinion and the United Nations covenants to which China is a signatory and partner all 4 months before they host the International Olympic Games. It is an outrage. The Chinese government is trying to stop all photographs, testimony, and witness of their sadistic persecution of the Tibetan people from reaching those of us in the free world. For 6 decades, they have succeeded. For 6 decades, the Chinese government has tortured and murdered innocent men and women in the dark cells of their vast gulag. Until this moment, they have escaped all censure, all consequence, all accountability. But in 4 months, China will host the 2008 Olympic Games, and now the world is watching. For many years, we have been told that China will never change, that China is unmoved by international opinion, that China has crushed Tibet, and the story is over and we should give up. But the wave of outrage that drowned the Olympic torch is proof that the story is not over and Tibet has not been crushed. Sorry. Oh God, what is going on? China is petrified of showing the true face of its police state to the world. And China will never change if the people of the world stay silent. And if the people of the world do not speak and act for the Tibetans, the Uyghurs, for Chinese political prisoners, for all victims of China's police state, who will? Who will speak for the Tibetan people if we don't? The conduct of the People's Republic of China has outraged the conscience of mankind. China has shamefully violated the humanitarian ideals symbolized by the United Nations and by the Olympic Games. In sworn agreements to the International Olympic Committee, China promised liberty, transparency, and fair play to host the Games. All participants and sponsors of the 2008 Olympic Games must hold China accountable for its transgressions of these principles. We will hold them accountable. We appeal to the board members, shareholders, and employees of the corporate sponsors of the Olympic Games: Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Nike, Adidas, Samsung, Lenovo, Volkswagen, Billiton, to pressure the People's Republic of China to immediately lift martial law in Tibet. to cease and desist from torture and all cruel and inhuman treatment of the Tibetan people, to allow international journalists, diplomats, medical and humanitarian workers and tourists full access to Tibet, and to cancel the Olympic torch relay through Tibet. We appeal to the corporate sponsors of the 2008 Olympic Games to uphold their commitments to their shareholders, to their customers, to honor corporate social responsibility principles and the universal rights of their fellow man. Should the corporate sponsors fail to honor these principles of justice symbolized by the Games, concerned citizens around the globe will boycott all of their products and services. No more Coca-Cola, no more McDonald's, no more Nike, no more Adidas. We know that the corporate sponsors will try to avoid conflict and will try to maintain the status quo. They have much to lose. They have invested millions upon millions in the Olympic Games. But their products and services must find customers before, during, and after the Olympic Games. Pardon me. Sorry about this. If they do not use their leverage with the Chinese government at this time of crisis and fear for the people of Tibet, then we, the free people of the free world, will hold them accountable for appeasement and complicity with a regime that tortures children and murders monks well beyond the 2008 Beijing Games. This is a decisive moment, not only for Tibet, but also for China. The world is watching and waiting for China to do the right thing. If the corporate sponsors, if the United Nations, if the heads of state of the world compel the Chinese government to cease and desist its military assault on the Tibetan people, to allow the international community full access to Tibet, and to meet with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, this will bring peace and understanding to the people of Tibet and to the people of China. This will be the ultimate victory of the Olympic Games. That will be the ultimate victory of the Olympic Games, is a free Tibet. And it will earn the corporate sponsors, all heads of state, international acclaim and honor. In his address to a Tibet rally in San Francisco, on April 8th, Archbishop Desmond Tutu said that the worldwide support for Tibet is proof, and I quote, "We live in a moral universe. We, the people of the world, have heard the people of Tibet cry, and we will not turn away, and we will not be silent. No tyranny was ever felled. No prisoner was ever rescued by silence." As the great 19th century American abolitionist Frederick Douglass once said, "Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will." We will speak and act for our brothers and sisters in Tibet, because we live in a moral universe. Free Tibet now. Free Tibet now.